have been the swelling.
My dad was Stoll because he could make twice as much money. That was attractive.
Well, I knew your dad real well, Zen. I knew your dad real special guy, real sturdy guy.
And all of the guys that were Stoll guys were really the adrenaline freaks, so to speak, weren't they? Because short takeoff and landings were really where you would say the action was in the project pay and so forth, as opposed to, say, a C-47, correct? Or
yes, that's
okay.
correct. Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Usually the Porter pilots, perhaps some of the helicopter pilots, flew in what we call project area, dangerous area, the most, more so than the 46s or the 123s or C-130s, the Porters.
Now I, at long last, know what I've just made the connection of what project pay is.
Congratulations. All I had to do was ask.
I never knew that. I never knew that. But they called it project pay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
It was a higher dollar. That was good.
by the hour, depending on where you're flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some real bravery demonstrated. Brian Johnson, who was at the meeting here the other night, one time I was flying south in an area that I was about 40 or 50 miles east of Longchen on my way south for some mission. And I heard a rescue going on. And you could hear the frantic voices and the coordination on the radio. And then I heard him make reference to some strips. And it was very near where I happened to be flying. In fact, it worked out to be almost like I was flying over the rescue. So I banked up and I started making this turn here, trying to see what was going on. And lo and behold, I was just coming over the edge of an escarpment, of a real, might not have been just an escarpment for a plateau, maybe even been a edge of a mountain, but very steep. And there was ledges on it. And there was a rescue going on one of the ledges. And the problem was that somehow the helicopter couldn't get in close enough to get the litter down on the ledge. And so I finally, it was hard to pick out the helicopter, the green helicopter with a lot of the foliage that was coming out of the side of the rocks or whatever else. But in any case, picked it up, and it was Brian Johnson. And the only way he could do it was he backed the helicopter, backed the rotor, tail rotor, back in like a crevice in order to, and had the rotor blades like, I mean, a foot from the doggone, which takes a horrendous amount of skill to be able to keep the tail rotor, centered in there, and also keep from drifting a foot back in order to be able to get the litter onto this narrow ledge. That was the only way they could do it. And I observed that from above. I couldn't believe what a helicopter was.
Incredible.
And there are, you've heard of that, every paragraph has a purpose. Every pilot not only has a story, but probably has a handful of stories. Not only flying stories, but supportive stories about their existence at that location and their day-to-day activities that, of course, impacted upon, when they flew and how they flew, and really entertaining and worthy stories. Every guy.